We are live. Hello, 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 my beauties. Yes, we are live. I'm 4 minutes late, but I was just getting ready for you guys. Got my earrings on that were made by a Japanese paper craft lady, and I really love them. Hold on 1 second here. Whoop. Let me mute myself in the other. There we go. Hold on. There we go. All right. I always do that. I often have another tab open because I was checking YouTube. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Sunday. Hope you had a good 4th of July, as it were. As it were means I know you probably didn't celebrate it, but it was a day. Hopefully you got some rest, whatever. I've actually never been, as many of us are not, never been a big 4th of July person, but I'm also not a big holiday person in general. That's just how I am. Let me close one more thing. So, yeah, and of course, in France, July 4th isn't like anything, so I didn't have that. Like, let's do something, and you guys might still be celebrating on Sunday. I don't know. Some of you might be, again, just a time to chill out, try to rest, get together with family or friends, loved ones, and just kind of not so much for like the official. Hold on, let me just see one more thing. All right, I think I'm good. I think I don't have Zoom open because I don't want Zoom open. Hold on, guys, let me close one thing. Say hi in the chat. Um, Let me know you're here, anything you want to share. As you enter the space, as you enter the room, hey, if you're just joining, welcome, welcome, welcome. And yeah, hope this weekend has been enjoyable. And I'm realizing I am early, so it is probably around 9 Eastern as I'm doing this. And so, hey, get a cup of tea. I definitely have some stuff I want to talk with you about and share with that I think is going to be impactful for some of you. Okay. So I'm having some tea. It says bio. It's a mint blend. Um, I don't think it has licorice in it, but it's mint and I think anise. Hey y'all. Hey Gigi. And I want to say I am so sorry for your loss. I won't say anything more than that, but thinking of you. And it has been crazy here the last couple of days, which actually is what prompted this video. Spirit brought something up to my awareness, and I was like, let me talk about this. So, yes, welcome. Hi, Bliss Babes, which is what I call my younger viewers. Hi, Wise Women, I call my more mature viewers. Welcome, welcome. I'm Coach Viv. I bring you the wellness and the woo, and all different topics, always with a spiritual basis, as well as wellness, keeping our health up holistically. Holistically. So this topic ties into both, okay? Before I go on, who else is here? So Gigi is here. Let me put you up. And please send her love and some kind energy from the community, whether you watch this live or whether you're catching it in the replay. Send her some love. And you can do that. You have that capacity to do that. You don't have to know the person, you don't have to be in the same room with them. So I really believe that. All right. So do send her some love. And wherever you are welcome. I mostly address my channel to women, spiritual women, maybe dealing with anxiety or high stress, still wanting to unfold and live your life and, enjoy it. So the topic today, again, as you come in, just say hi in the chat. Let me know how you're doing, um, maybe where you are. Okay, so the topic today, though, is what I came up with. Um, it's in YouTube speak, okay? Because you got to try to get the point across in a short, and has to have like keywords. Okay, so I wrote mom's emotional absence. Okay, so we're going to talk about emotionally absent mothers. Um, and I wrote how it affects your body, your boundaries, and abundance. And then on my thumbnail, yeah, like I further like get like, a few punchy words. Okay. So I think, like I said, this is going to really resonate for many of you. For those, it's just really going to resonate. So I have my notes. I apologize if the video itself is a little blurry because I'm using my laptop, which is not as sharp, as my cell phone camera, right? But on my cell phone, I have my notes. So I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to jump right in. And I know a lot of folks, because it's early, especially if you're on the West Coast. If you're in the Midwest of America or the West Coast, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. That's okay. All right. So hi to those of you who watch the replay. So this is not to blame the mother. This is not to blame our mothers, okay? Because first of all, hi Shinae. I know I may have mispronounced it. I'll leave you up there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is not to blame our mother, because I always feel like, first of all, mothers get blamed for everything, right? Psychologically, in society, we won't just look around, everything going on, it's always the mom's fault, right? It's just because the role of mom is so crucial, right? So my first thing, this isn't to blame our mother, okay? Because what I want to add to that, my subtitle was, she was probably too tired. Those of you who this resonates with, your mom, and I will bring it to my mom, and I truly hope this, um, you know, I've got to speak the truth, and my mom is, as I say, resting in peace and power, and definitely more peaceful, I'm sure, um, having left this world, because she had a lot of pain in this world. So yeah, your mother might have had a lot of pain, emotional, physical pain, right? Again, we're assuming she did the best she could, right? She wasn't trying to be distant. And also, I'm not talking about like really I'm not talking about abusive mothers. Okay, so this video may resonate for you, but I'm not talking about abusive mothers. I'm talking about ones who were a little bit distant and who under loving, okay? All right, let me know if you're with me on that. Let me know if you're with me on that. Yes, well, it is ancestral, right? It is ancestral. So I want to really talk about it. And even the word trauma too. So thank you for bringing that up, Shinae. I just want to stay away from it for several reasons, not to offend anyone who resonates with it. And just as I started, I've been here all day, you guys. This thing wasn't happening, and now it started. I can't even explain what it is. It's almost like there's a motor that goes off that literally affects my ears, and it's like it sweeps through the area. I know it sounds strange, and then it stops. But it's like, can you guys hear it? It's like also energetically disturbing. Like it's almost like a helicopter but more muffled. And like I said, it affects my hearing briefly, and you feel like this energy field passes through you. I swear to God, I know it sounds weird, but it started happening where I am staying, I'd say the last like 2 weeks. And maybe it is something flying overhead. Like maybe that's what it is, but it literally vibrates. The house vibrates, but it also brings some like tonal shift. It's really weird, guys. I don't know what it is. I'm going to just try to ignore it because it's still going on. Anyway, so it's not to blame our mother. She was either tired, she was dealing with trauma herself. Like in my mother's case, she came from a family that definitely suffered trauma. The reason I'm staying a bit away, or I don't want to just label us traumatized, is because I want us always to feel empowered. My very first video on this channel, you guys, I talk about you may have been victimized, but I don't want you to walk around with a big V on your forehead, which I think in our society we're sometimes encouraged to do. Okay, now this is controversial. I'm saying let's always kind of stay in our power, acknowledge what happened, but don't live in the trauma. Okay, so again, not to blame the mother. She had enough going on. She may have been under supported by the divine masculine, right, in her life, by her own lineage of women, which definitely was the case with my mom. Both were. She was under supported by, my dad. She was also lacking support through her maternal lineage, right? And we see even today in America, right? It's like the mom is isolated with the kids. Unlike traditional societies where the mothers would be in a group and the kids would be raised in a group and grandma would be there and aunties would be there. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, we're lacking that. Okay, so again, this is not to blame the mother, and it's also not to stay in suffering. That's my second bullet point. But it's about understanding. It's because, like I said, this is just hitting me today. This is not what I was going to talk about, but for reasons that I may get into, I just like came up like, wow, this mothering and the vibration stopped. I don't think you guys could hear it, but it also, like I said, I don't know if it's 5G, guys. I really don't know what it is, whether it's some cell phone thing or cell tower thing, but it feels like that. It stopped. It often cycles back though, so we'll see. Anyway, we want to understand. And I put that it's about mental and emotional healing. It's about our healing. That's what I care about. I don't even like channels where there's a channel of someone who I think is very interesting, but she's always on the trauma, always on the trauma, always about how we're suffering, and always about it. Just you feel afterwards, you feel sort of understood, but you feel left in the trauma. Does that make sense? Give me a yes if you know what I'm saying. It's like you've been you're like battered, you're like beaten, and you're like, oh, and you don't feel empowered afterwards. Okay. So I'm going to stop there with those points and look at your comments, and then I'll come back. So, Lydia, hey, Lydia. Wow, that's interesting. Yes, I am well. My mom is exactly. Again, I'm not talking about mothers who locked you in a closet. Okay. That's beyond my expertise. All right. I'm being very real with you. But it's a continuum. I'm talking about the mother who just was not as loving as like normal range. She was distant. She was with her own stuff. And I'm not even going to say it's narcissistic because that's another buzzword. Because my mom, I'm not feeling and talking about the narcissistic mother. That wasn't what my mother, and maybe your mother, again, let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments, truly. She was dealing with so much stuff. She was dealing with an abusive partner, right? Undersupported her, abused her, belittled her. So I'm talking undernourished, and that is a word you guys have heard me come back to, especially like Gigi. Gigi's been here a long time, been a supporter of the channel. Undernourished. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming the woman. I'm not gonna beat her up because she already very likely felt beaten up. Okay? Give me a yes if you're with me on this. This is just really what I'm feeling. Like I said, it's kind of raw. Okay. So it's about our mental and emotional healing, because what I'm hoping is even just this far into the video, that some of you might be like, oh my God, I never really thought about it. Okay. Because I have a little bit, but these light bulbs went off, guys, like fireworks went off. So let me continue on. So I want us to make the connections to, and this is what I want to talk about. A couple things just came to me. I was like, whoa, the distant mother, right? The undernourishing mother, sacral chakra, right? Because I'm like, everybody on my channel, those are always my most popular videos, especially in the past. I was talking a lot about the chakras. It's the sacral chakra, our reproductive health, right? So sacral chakra, reproductive health are tied together. They're basically different layers of looking at the same thing. When I say sacral chakra, that's sort of the energetic and spiritual of our reproductive health as women, because again, for those of you who are new, the sacral chakra below the belly button and above the pubic bone, right? That area deep in the pelvis where the uterus would be, all right? I say that because you may have had your uterus removed, okay, where it would be located. So I'm making these connections, our sacral chakra, our reproductive health, and the female lineage, the female line. That sacral chakra is very much about our mother, grandmother, great grandmother, aunties, all of the women, all of that power and energy is that sacral chakra. Okay, are you with me? I'm going to pause. Oh yeah, maybe my mic. I hope it does block background sound, because like I said, it's a vibration, you guys. It's like very weird. I don't even know how I could find out what it is because it comes and it goes. So it's like, how do you describe it to somebody, in the building or like, anyway, and you guys know I'm in an Airbnb, so I'm sure she'd be like, oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. I think it's something out in the community. Okay, get yourself a cup of tea, get something so you feel comfortable. So I'm going to go to Shanae. Shanae says, trauma is manifested. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, and we do use the trauma word so much. Again, yes, I just want us to be able to realize we can heal. We can move forward. But I think awareness, and I want to know what you guys think. Don't you think awareness is key? If you don't know, right? I was watching, it was about the Diddy trial. And one of the was a black female lawyer, and she said, we have cases where the victim, and I already knew this, but she's like, the victim doesn't want to charge the person, whether it's the boyfriend made them, prostituted them or what, they don't want to prosecute. And these are the words she said. She goes, they may not really understand that they were victimized. And I was like, and for the men watching, and, we ladies know it can be very hard. And again, I saw this with the Diddy trial. Many people are like, oh yeah, no, they were fine with it. Come on, they got money. They got money. Oh, so there's this lack of understanding, I think, in our culture, and I mean American culture, and then you can go even deeper about trauma, and especially in women, how you can act in a way that seems like you're just fine with everything that's happening, but you're not. But again, it'd be very hard for some men won't admit that they don't understand how women are socialized, and it is to be sweet, be kind, and also kind of give of yourself in a way where you lose yourself. So I'm just saying, yes, the trauma exists. And when this lawyer said, some of these women who were clearly victimized, they're like, oh, no, I don't want to press charges. And it's not even out of fear of retaliation. They're just like, no, and they'll make up a story about how it went down, like what happened, right? And she's like, they literally won't understand that what was done to them was wrong. That's what I'm saying. And so she's like, we literally have to act for them. And I was like, wow, that is really, I had never thought of it that way. And this was a lawyer who, had dealt with a lot of different types of cases of just stuff, nasty, nasty stuff that many of us haven't really had to deal with, but who has seen things, trauma and rape and trafficking up close. But anyway, so I just had to say that fits in there in terms of the trauma. So let's make our connections. Again, that sacral chakra and the reproductive health. Why do especially so many Black women and women of color have, and there's another reason as well, but have issues with their reproductive health, with fibroids and endometriosis, but like overgrowth. Now, there's a lot of causes. There are dietary causes, there's stress, which goes to my point. Stress. I was watching another video where it was a physician, and scientifically they have shown that a lot of the reproductive issues, and even especially fibroids, and I've said this before, those of you who watch my channel a long time, the women with fibroids have higher levels of stress. They can trace it, they can track it, they can see it. So this is tying into my sort of more woo-woo take on it, that yes, our reproductive health, could the being undernourished as a child, underloved, undernurtured as a female child by our own mothers. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's there, and then she's undernourished for a variety of reasons: generational trauma, racism, sexual abuse. And again, this can happen to women from all different ethnicities. When I look at some, they're talking about places in Mexico where women are just so many sexual assaults and attacks on women. This is around the world, okay? Different cultures where it's like it's okay to attack the women. That's what we're going to do. We're going to attack the women. And usually physically, right? Physical force, sexual crimes. So that's in the lineage. And then you've got this woman who's, given birth herself, but having trauma that there's no language for it, right? 1930s, 1800s. Who's going to talk about that? There are cultures now where if a woman is sexually assaulted, and you guys know this, it's her fault. They blame her. The first thought in the people's mind is like, "Oh, how did this happen? How did you let this happen?" When she's been like gang raped, and it's like, "Oh, how did you let this happen?" Right? Crazy stuff like this, you guys. So yeah, crazy. It's just all coming up. Um, but I also want to say yes, vitamin D, because like I said, the wellness and the woo, the vitamin D is a huge issue with Black women, and it's also women of color, women who have more melanin. There's definitely something with vitamin D that our skin, right, protective, but then we're not absorbing as much, especially if we don't live in the regions that we were traditionally living in where the sun is stronger and brighter and we could get the vitamin D. So I'm not saying it's all on our mother, it's all the unloving mother. No, no. You guys know me. I'm always very nuanced, which is also why I think my channel is hard for people because I am always very nuanced. Okay, Shiny says yes. Yeah, you're with me. So it's multifactorial, okay? There's multiple factors, but this is one factor that I don't think many of us, and again, you could be a successful woman. I'm not saying you're laying home in bed up in a fetal position and you're not functional. What I see is, especially with Black women, we're functional, we're doing things, we're creating, but like, where's the burnout coming from? Where's the like I said, the reproductive issues, right? That is, like I said, on my channel, those videos, thousands of views. I'm like, wow, it's the reproductive health, right? And a lot of the self-love stuff that I make, right? That's ties in that sacral chakra. It isn't so much heart. Heart is part of it, but it's that sacral chakra of the real sense of loving ourselves, loving our bodies, tied in with our sensuality and our reproductive health and our sexual health. It's all sacral chakra. And so if you see your mother who, like in my mom's case, was abused by my dad, verbally abused. Again, give me your feedback. Did you witness this? You know, he would verbally abuse her and belittle her for nothing. She hadn't done anything. He would just voice this kind of rage at her, right? And I would see her kind of just shrink and shrink and shrink. And then, like I said, she had drinking problems because the alcohol was a way for her to soothe herself, soothe her worries, soothe her pain. Okay? So let me stop and have a little bit of my tea. Do comment, do whether you're live or again watching this in the future. So again, I'm just really trying to make you think about, was this the case with me? Is it possible that my reproductive issues, you watching this, how could it connect to how I saw my mother treated and how I saw her react? Like my mother was a martyr. My mother like pulled back. She wasn't have another family member, guys, who would as well punch you if she wasn't taking it. She's not taking any shit. More aggressive and assertive was her response, right? But my mother was more like pulling in, feeling shame, pulling back. She wouldn't really defend herself, right? She wouldn't verbally try to defend herself. And again, maybe, like I'm saying with women when they've been assaulted, maybe, and again, back to the Diddy case, men in the comments, oh, well, she could have fought back at this time or she didn't. Yeah, well, did you see the video when she attempted just to leave quietly? Okay. Because I know this growing up with my mom, we were definitely afraid of physical violence. So we seem to be fine. Ladies, let me know you're with me, and divine masculine, who your heart is open and who you can see how men and women react to things differently, right? Maybe you saw it. Maybe you're a man watching this and you saw your mother being abused, whether physically or emotionally. I'm just saying women don't always just like, yeah, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to pack. I'll just be like, yeah, bye. Because there can be a great fear of the retaliation. As we know, I believe it's at the most dangerous time for a woman is when she's trying to leave a toxic relationship, right? The the aggressor can become more angry, more incensed, okay? So slightly off topic, but not really, kind of about why women might stay and then end up being unable to really nurture and nourish their children because they're not in a nurturing, they're not being nurtured, right? So think about your reproductive health. And I'm really urging you, get a journal and go back and just think about, maybe a question could be, were there times I saw my mom being belittled or abused? And then use that, you guys, use that as like a journal prompt to explore. Use that as a journal prompt to explore and link it to, again, I'm talking to those of you with fibroids, I'm talking to those of you with cysts, with endometriosis, all of that stuff, right? Okay. So it's also about receiving and being worthy. When we see, or we come from, I'm pulling in multiple issues now, but when we come from a mom, a mother who we see her unloved, right? She's not treated with respect. She's not treated with, she's not treated like a queen. No, nobody's queening her, a queen of this, goddess that. No, that's not happening. Okay, that is not happening. All right, I'm gonna put that up in a second. That is not happening. She isn't getting all that queen this, queen that, right? Again, she's undernourished, and then she's pregnant, she has children, and she's got financial issues. The partner may not be as nourishing as he could be for, again, a variety of reasons, right? There can be reasons, and that masculine is not there, right? It's absent. It's undernourished as well, right? So then I'm tying it now into money, and this is new for me. I don't remember, again, sometimes you get an insight, goddesses, let me know if this happens to you. You get an insight and you lose the insight. That has absolutely happened to me. I'll have this breakthrough insight, and then I'm like, can't quite remember. And that's why I'm urging you to write stuff down so you have it. So could this even affect our abundance? Because abundance is in great part about receiving. You're doing work, you have talents, but you're not receiving very much. Are you energetically, and this is not to blame at all, but do you have the energy of, I'm not worthy? And that's why I wrote receiving and being worthy. I think that's modeled by the father, right? Ideally, and the mother. You see the mom receiving care and love and support, and you see the masculine receiving it back in a circle, but also providing stability, support, structure. That's why I always tell you, when you think about these archetypes, right? And you can think of them as archetypes, okay? But if that's absent, and then you see the mother, which is what you are, right? I'm talking here to women, to the divine feminine, but you see your mother, who is your example, she's your prototype, and she's not treated well. Why would you then feel that you deserve? Do you see what I'm saying? This could tie into your issues around money and around abundance and the flow of money and the flow of support, all because of how you saw your mom treated, how you saw your mom treated, and or then how she reflected that, right? So I jumped a layer up now to why the mom is the way she is, but let's take it back to you being undernourished by her, you being undernourished by her. And I'm actually going to make a connection here in a second that's going to jump to a whole other level, okay? When I work with clients, and I'm also thinking back to my massage clients, I'm going to tie this in with the acupuncture theory that literally the mother is represented by the stomach spleen, by our digestion and our ability to break it down. And so I know you might be like, okay, wait, I'm not following you. What I'm saying is, in the holistic system of healing that I teach and that I work with clients with, I've seen in women and also like in myself, so women clients and in myself, a weakness in the stomach spleen when they were under mothered. Okay, so I know it's a big jump and it's more theoretical now, but what I'm telling you is, so then I'd have massage clients and they would have a weakness in this particular meridians, the stomach and the spleen, which are considered earth. They are the element of earth. They are the element of the mother, and they relate. And you can look this up. This is traditional Chinese medicine theory. It's the theory, those of you who get acupuncture, we have meridians in our body, we have energy flows, and that stomach spleen energy has to do with the quality of our mothering. So I didn't actually make this up. I'm being informed by that, I should say, right? And I would touch, so I'm massaging the person, and you usually use the thumb, and I wouldn't have any fingernails at that point, and we use the arm, and I would feel, oh, this energy is depleted. And when I would talk to the women, because I always do this intake, right? Whether I'm doing the hands-on back then, the massage therapy, or whether I'm coaching them, now I would do an intake, and often they had issues with their mother. I'm even thinking of a dear friend of mine who had yeah, distant, not abusive, but distant, cold, and alcoholic mother. And when I work on her, the meridian that is weakest is that stomach spleen, right? And it gives us certain symptoms. So yes, it ties in with our abundance, because the earth, this is my yeah, that's the point I'm making to wrap it up so it makes sense. That earth meridian, those have to do with holding and nourishing, and metaphorically, and to do with abundance, and to do with money, right? To be able to receive and to keep it, to keep and to hold. So guys, this is all like, like I said, like fireworks, my synapses are going off as I'm seeing this. So it's just really, really amazing. So let me look at your comments. Give me more comments. Let me know you're following me. Let me know your insights, what you're taking away from this. So let's go up to Shanae says, it's usually a journey, victim, survivor. Thank you. I love that. That's beautiful, goddess. Yes, it is a journey. Absolutely. Right. Because we got the victim level. Let's talk about that. We got the victim level, which I don't really work well with. And that's why I'm kind of like moving away from that. I had a lot of videos that had even the word trauma in them. I've actually taken some of them down because I'm energetically, and I've had people come on here, nobody today, but I've had people come on who were so negative and so depressed, you guys. I literally got off the live and I was like what, like the life had been sucked out of me. Serious, I'm being very honest with you. And so I can't, that's not the level at which I work. But we do go through the victim and then more into the survivor. Okay, I'm processing this, I'm healing. And then, of course, yeah, if you come out of that into thriver, if you come out of that, Shanae, not everybody does, right? I know you know that, right? So some people, for whatever reason, they get stuck, they get blocked. Um, so, like I said, I worked with 2 clients recently in my coaching, which absolutely check it out, guys. I want to mention it because I am available to support you. It's on my website, and I will put the link after I'm not live. I'll put a link to um, my coaching, which I don't know if I love the name, the Mindful Meridian Method, where I combine mindfulness with working with the meridian. So in this case, the 2 women I'm thinking of specifically, it was affecting their health. And for both of them, I decided and I saw when they did the health quiz, which is free, by the way, I will put that link below, that those were the meridians that were weakest on them. So you see how I'm tying it all together? They both had issues with their mother, with the mother lineage, and we talked about it. And they were weakest in the stomach spleen meridian. And in one case, they were working, they were making money, but life wasn't smooth as it could be. In one woman's case, she was working really, really hard to make money and felt stuck. So the making of money didn't feel nourishing, right? Didn't feel nourishing like a mom nourishes a baby. So she was earning, but not with ease. And the other woman was earning, but having troubles with her health. So tie all this together and see where you fit in there. Okay. Let me put up your comments. But yes, it is from victim, hopefully to survivor or surthriver, some people call it. Somebody coined that. So yeah, thank you for that. That's absolutely beautiful. Let me put up another comment here. It's a long one. Let's put it on the screen. Heather says, yes, lots of ancestral trauma and violence towards the feminine. It's like insane. Your mom was very distant. I thought she hated me. At 33, I'm learning how wounded my mother was and how much I carry. Exactly. That's kind of what I'm saying with this video is mom did not mean to be a monster. And I'm not talking about the monster mothers who locked you in the closet, who physically beat you. I'm not talking about that level. I'm talking about the level where, she did the best she could. She fed you, but there was just definitely, she herself was withdrawn in some ways. She herself was in pain in some ways. So, Heather, I love how you're putting that, because you're now realizing at 33, right, which is younger than me. I'm glad you are doing that, because I think it's possible. And guys, the vibration thing is happening again. It's like this weird low buzzing sound, like, and you can almost feel it like moving through. It's really creepy. And it kind of messes up my inner ear. But yeah, you're learning that she was wounded. So, because what I don't like is you go on YouTube or wherever and you see people, my mother is this and she's that. And you're just continuing this rage and this lack of understanding that ultimately isn't healing of the mother lineage. So, yeah, I'm talking about like, let's try and heal it. Let's try and heal it. Yes. Lydia says, I know my mom was undernourished as a child emotionally, and therefore she became her own mother, or she tried, Lydia, right? Because it's hard. I feel like that's a great comment. As a child, we can't fix it as a child. How can a child nourish itself? A child can't. I think it's only when we're adults, say mid 20s onward, that we can, if we can see the problem, we can see what happened. And like I said, because your childhood might have been fine, nobody maybe was slapping anybody around, so you're on the surface, it could have looked fine. It's for us sensitive folks who are able to make those connections. Yeah. So she tried to become her own mother, but then think about what that does, right? How draining that is, especially if you're still young, to try to mother yourself. Like, what does that mean? Like, you soothe yourself when you're stressed, or a kid bullied you. You make milk for yourself, and you make it like a child can't do that. They really need that parent to do the nurturing. And so only, yeah, when we're older, when we're now mature, yeah, Lydia's saying exactly, yeah, can we be like, okay, let me nurture myself, which is also why I think, you guys, all my self-love affirmations, those do well. So you see, I'm really tying a lot of things together here. If you're just joining, you're probably like, what's Viv talking about? I'm going to try to recap because it's a lot. I pulled a lot of strands together. If somebody could do it in the comments. I'm saying how a distant, or what I call undernourished mother, leads to problems in women as we come into our adulthood. And it leads to problems like reproductive problems, because that is literally the essence of the feminine, is that uterine and that ability to hold and bear children. That's the connection with our lineage, our mother lineage. Even on the father's side, which I'm actually found out, you guys, this gets deep. My father's mother was abused, physically abused, horribly, brutally. I heard one story. I won't even share it with you. I've shared it before. I'm not even going to talk about it. Brutally physically abused regularly. And that's the mother lineage coming through my father. So my father saw his mother abused and then abused my mother. Oh my gosh, do you see? This is what I'm talking about, guys. But the reason it matters is not to like soak in the trauma, but to realize, oh my gosh, could this be affecting? Why do I have fibroids? So I'm making the connection with that. So as a woman with a mother who couldn't nourish you, maybe you have fibroids, maybe you have endometriosis, you have reproductive issues. That's all that feminine lineage. So I'm just saying, know it, become mentally aware, and become emotionally aware so you can heal. So reproductive health, but I'm also tying it in with receiving and being worthy of abundance. Because when my father would belittle and insult my mother, he often used money was part of it. Her worthiness, her goodness was part of it, you guys. Let me know in the chat if you saw or witnessed that yourself. So I'm saying that that imprints on you as a young child. You're 6, you're 7, you're 10, you're 12. You grew up seeing the feminine belittled and harmed, even if it was not physically harmed. So yes, yes, yes. So what can we do? First of all, I'm actually going to stop. Let's do a little shaking. All right. Like literally just shake it out. Shake your arms, especially if you feel like you were getting kind of down. Okay. Because I don't want to leave you in that space. I'm even going to just put my feet flat and I'm going to jiggle my legs because again, the body holds the trauma. All right. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to urge you to stand up. Let's stand up. This is where some people who aren't really deeply into what I'm talking about, they may leave. That's okay. You may want to put some music on. I'm literally going to stand up for a minute. I'm just going to move my body a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to be off screen and do it with me. Because there's a great book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it's about trauma. The body keeps the score. I'm shaking my arms, I'm shaking my legs, shaking my hips, sort of bouncing up and down just on the heels. That's actually good for the body. You guys lift your heels and just drop them a couple times fast. That's helpful for the bones and that helps the kidneys, all right? Let's try that. Move your hips. Bend your knees. Alternate bend and straighten. Okay. I do feel better. I do feel better. Yes. I do. I didn't want to stay off camera for too long. I didn't necessarily want to be on camera, but yes. And a couple things we can do. Let's do this as we're sitting, okay? We're going to just do a breath. So yes, consider coaching with me. I have 3 sessions and I have like an 8-session package where what I do is I basically teach deep rest, yoga nidra, deep relaxation. Okay, hold on, I'm going to try to pull up a link here. And because we need it. If you are sick, and then I'm going to look at your comments again. If you are sick, you literally need to do yoga nidra or relaxation twice a day. I am not exaggerating because you're sick, your body is so keyed up, everything is so heightened. You're literally trying to retrain your body to just take it down, just like chill. Okay, hold on. Let me put this here. I am going to share the link. Okay, and let me see if I can get it in the chat. Just bookmark this page, you guys. Okay, this is the coaching, or like I said, I have 3 sessions. It's very reasonable, I think. Let me see. Now the 3, I can't, we can't go as deep, but the clients that I've had with the 3 sessions, that chose the 3 sessions, they got definitely changed their trajectory. One woman said to me, and I have her testimonial on the page, she was getting sick. So her health was like normal, but she was getting sick like every month. Her kid would come home sick from school, but she started to notice she would have problems, and it was a lot with her stomach. Her stomach would be involved. And the minute she said that, I was like, huh, like nausea and vomiting. But she knew this wasn't normal, right? So she didn't have anything diagnosed, but her immune system was down, and she came to me for coaching. Since then, she said to me she has not gotten sick with what I taught her. And another client with the same type of syndrome, definitely mother stuff going on. I won't even mention it, but like serious stuff with the mother, absent mother, depression as a result, like a sadness, and has been able to make huge shifts in her life. And again, just with 3 sessions. Okay. So the book I mentioned was The Body Keeps Score. The Body Keeps the Score, Lydia. Is that what yeah, The Body Keeps the Score. Oh, well, I mean, sick like a chronic illness like lupus, those, once we get into chronic illnesses, the body has it's a sign the body is under a lot of stress. I think the first kind of chronic illness we should pay attention to is insomnia. I'm really thinking of doing this deep dive video where I literally have a mini course about how to heal insomnia. I'm thinking about it because it would be like an hour-long video, like not like this with a live, but like planned what I'm saying and going through. Um, because insomnia is the first sign that something's out of sorts with our body. So again, as the child of this, like the undernourished child of the undernourished mother, what can we do? Like I said, oh, okay. Shiny says, okay, you have it. All right. Yeah, the body keeps the score. And there's another one, either with lion or tiger in the title. Oh my gosh. Or am I thinking of the same book, Shiny? Shanae, am I thinking of the same book? But I think there's a tiger or a leopard on the cover. It's a very, very good book. But Lydia, yeah, let me know what you mean because as I'm talking freely, and your comment comes in after, I'm not sure, but what do you mean? Yeah, sick. I mean, sick like has a serious illness that they're under treatment for, right? A lot of us aren't like sick with any particular thing, but maybe our energy isn't there, our energy is low. But yeah, I mean, I guess when I say sick, like some chronic type illnesses, chronic high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or things like that, tied in diabetes. That's someone who's, for someone who's got chronic illness, I tend to recommend 8 sessions, which is in the 8 sessions, you guys, I teach mindfulness meditation like completely, as well as putting in the healing acupressure points. And the points are mostly for dealing with the stress. Again, I'm not claiming to like cure the disease, especially those you've had a chronic illness that takes years to develop, probably over a decade. Okay. So, but stress and all of these illnesses that I even just mentioned, all of them, stress is a huge component of if they flare and your quality of life. So I'm working with you to take the stress way, way down. Um, so I think with women where we have had that distant mother, again, examine how it's affecting you, examine how it's affecting your sense of worth. Do you feel worthy? And really write it out, journal about it, tease it out. Let the memories come back. Oh you're welcome. Let the memories come back. Yes, it's blue now, but I think it had a different color before. That's what's so funny with books, like, because I remember colors too. The book I'm thinking of, I think the cover was kind of orangey brown, actually. Let me see. Let me look it up and see. The one I'm thinking of, The Body Keeps the Score. I think, is that? Yeah, yes, okay, no, you're right. And you know what? I have that book. Shanae, I have that book in my house, and I haven't actually read it. There's another one about trauma, though, that I want to recommend. It's trauma. What's the famous trauma book? Oh, gosh. Oh, and it's got, yeah, The Trauma Heart. No. Um, I don't see it. It's a classic. I'm going to write classic trauma book and see if it'll come up. Let me see if I can pull up images. So if I see the cover, the one I'm talking about has a lion or an animal on the cover is the other one I'm thinking about. No, it's showing me so many books for children too with trauma. Oh my gosh. Because COVID really messed with our children. You guys, I'm hearing that from so many people because I don't have children, but mother hunger, is that another? Yeah. So we need to, like our self-care, I feel like sounds superficial on that level, and it isn't because we're talking for those of us who've been undernourished, it almost needs to be a daily practice to bring up that mothering and to develop the inner mother. Does that make sense? Like we have to literally like grow our own inner mother. I've said this to you guys, and this is kind of personal, but I had a boyfriend once who said something to me like, yeah, he's like, you don't take good care of yourself in terms of, this was the comment. He goes, you'll buy books, but you don't have gloves or a scarf. And you see what I mean? That's like psychologically, it's like, yeah. It's a disassociation from the body and the care, because the loving mother, if the loving mother within were developed, we would think of those things. We would like, oh my, think of like the stereotype of a mother, right? You're going out and she's, oh, put on your scarf. Oh, okay, no, and you need your gloves, right? You know what I mean? That's that mother, that quality is that caring. And so he had a point. I remember looking at him like, huh, I don't even know if he actually said you don't take care of yourself. He might have, but the way he saw it is like, yeah, you have books. And I think I didn't even get it. I was still quite young, and I just was like, well, I think I actually says, well, I really love books. And what does that tell you? I'm like, oh, so the books are more important than my personal well-being, right? So this is deep. So I'm urging you guys really like, again, maybe all of you who are here seem to be like on track with this, and you're attracted to this video, and you've thought this through, and you're already healing. But I'm talking to those of you maybe who watch later. Think about your life and kind of look at it from that perspective. If you're having reproductive issues, if you're having money issues, and oh, this is the final thing. Yes, it ties in with abundance and love. And love, it's sort of obvious, right? If you were under loved by your mother, you didn't get it modeled for you. So for some of you overcame it. Maybe you had a loving father indeed, or maybe you had a loving auntie or grandma. But for some of us, it can show up with a lack of love in our life. Do you see how deep this is? This is like a lack of love, because it's not because we're not lovable, but our whole energy and the people we see are people who cannot love. So then this gets into that, the thing about the different styles of connection, right? The anxious connection, I definitely have that. There's like the normal ability to connect, and then there's like the anxious, um, gosh, guys, what is that called? There's like the four, I think it's either four or three attachment styles. That's it, attachment styles. I read the book on attachment styles, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, I have anxious attachment. Everything it described, I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. So again, that would correlate back with this mother who didn't, or father really, who didn't give you steady enough, consistent enough love and nurturing of who you are. Oh, you did this. Oh, that's wonderful. You drew a little picture. You built something. You brought home your school report, all of this. So anyway, I'm going to stop there. I think that's really it. I'm just urging you to consider, if you're having issues with your abundance, with love, you know, getting people in your life who are loving, and with your reproductive health, to consider that it is from this being undernourished by the mother. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so Mother Hunger, thank you for that. And the author is Kelly McDaniel. Okay. Shawnetta, hey Shawnetta. Welcome. It's good to see you. Shawnetta says, as a teacher, I can definitely agree COVID did negatively affect our children. Absolutely. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just, most of my friends are either the children are grown, or actually it was another friend that brought this to my attention. Her children are in college now. And yeah, she said, I'm like, really? And she's like the fourth one to bring this up to me. And I'm like, she's like, they were developing, they were in high school, and then all of a sudden they had to be scared of each other. So yeah, and the trauma those kids have gone through is like some serious, because this was like a worldwide pandemic. It wasn't even just like a little localized trauma. It's like the whole world. So yes, Shawnetta, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, if it was never modeled, then I need to learn it. Yeah, we have to learn it for ourselves, but it has to be conscious. So, like I said, just so much going on in my mind about this. And yeah, right now. And I'll share more in other videos, but this just, it can literally be, for some of us, the underlying ability to heal, especially the reproductive issues. When it clicks, it isn't just diet, it's these deep emotions. So you guys, one thing that when I do coach someone, working with the meridians and the specific acupressure points that I, you know give each client, they can bring up emotions. I'll never forget a friend of mine. This is why she shared it with me. A friend of mine came for massage and she never came back. And at some point I inquired. She's very polite. She was Asian, very she's Korean American, and so very like she wasn't gonna say anything. So I was like, yeah, did you not love the shiatsu, which is the acupressure points? And she said, and I had to probe, you guys. I had to probe, and she finally says, yeah, but I cried for like a day and a half, and I was like, oh. Then I felt bad, right? She goes, like it was definitely from the massage. That's what I'm saying to you. She's like, I was so sad and just cried. And I'm like, girl, this was in you. And she knew that, you guys. That's what I'm saying. She knew that, but she's still like, yeah, she wasn't gonna do that again. But and I looked at her, I says, well, so you processed all of that, right? Like it came out. And she's like, yeah, but it was like it came out in a like, whew. So the meridians, and again, those of you who are like into tapping, that's the thing, right? That's what I'm really talking about. Though I don't do it as tapping, we hold as the massage therapist. We do it slightly differently, but it can really bring out the emotion. So she's like, yeah, I didn't come back because I was sad for like 2 days after you worked on me. And I was like, okay, well, I'm sorry, but the sadness was there. Okay, so deal with it. You come for healing. What do you expect? Anyway, all right. Let me look at your comments. Love, nurturing, and validation. Yeah, validation. Because when we say love, we weren't loved. What is love really from a parent? It's physical, right? It is. It's some physical aspect to it, being held. Like that's important. That they've done studies. We all know that. So it's physical, but it's also a sense when you're hurt, they're there for you. So like physically they're there, but they may also verbally validate. So it's multiple things. I guess, is it possible to be physically nurtured and yet not emotionally? I feel like not so much because to me they go together so much. But I guess there could be a parent who's like very physically loving, but yet maybe disconnected. But I don't think that's more the case. I think it's the whole thing. Like my mom, I honestly, you guys, this started this morning, and that's why I'm doing this video. I was like, I don't really remember a lot of like hugging or physical affection from her, you know? And that is a huge part. I think this might have also been sparked. I was looking at pictures of moms holding their babies, and I was listening actually to a teacher talking about the whole meridian theory, and he pointed out that we usually in all cultures, traditional cultures, we put the front of the baby. Now I'm getting esoteric again, so guys, if you follow me on this, the front line of our bodies, you guys, is a meridian that is like the feminine meridian, the meridian of nurturing. And he was pointing out that in traditional cultures, the baby would be put facing in. That line would contact the mother. The baby would be in towards her, right? And he pointed out that like Sweden, apparently, again, this is for you parents, you might really care about this. Sweden, then we've started to see where they turn the baby outward. And his claim was, and I agree, is yeah, because they're like, it gives the baby more stimulation. Baby doesn't need stimulation. At the point that you're carrying the baby around, the baby needs closeness and connection, needs to be facing, to be turned in. And that energetic connection with the mother doesn't happen as much when the baby has its back to the mother. Okay. Again, this is a little esoteric, but it's, for those of you who are healers or mothers with young babies, it's just something to think about. Shanae says, yeah, that was a release. Yeah. I'm not sure which point in my stream of consciousness you were talking about, but yeah. Let's see. Great conversation, you guys. Lydia says, to me, love is safety in every sense. Yes. So it isn't just physical, but we know that's so important, especially for babies, right? For babies and small children, that physical is important because it's that primal sense. And as I said, that front line, which is actually called the conception vessel, it took me a moment to get that. It runs through the middle of your body, you guys. from the base of your body up, and I think it ends here. And that line has to do with the yin energy, and it should be in contact with the mother, and it's the front of the body. And so it goes through the belly button, right? How we were nurtured, everything, right? So that conception vessel, that baby needs to be face into the mother, or even if it's on the mother's back, face in towards her. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, I know. Yeah. Sinead, yeah. I know. But you know what it is? Again, that's all the information I'm going to give is that she's Korean American. And not to stereotype, but she herself would say this culturally. Um, it's not a culture of people. Yeah, it's not an expressive culture in the sense of let your emotions out. It's more about kind of also like Japanese culture, right? Just, so yeah, I think it caught her off guard, honestly, Shanae. It caught her off guard because she wasn't aware of it, which is also probably why it came out so forcefully. I mean, like I said, I felt bad when she told me she cried for like 2 days. And then she was talking to me, she was fine, right? And truly, I think she said she felt lighter because I tried to kind of direct her a little bit. I was like, but don't you feel lighter? And she kept going back to, yeah, but 2 days of feeling really sad, I was like, yeah, okay. That's how it works, all right? That's how healing works. So yes, that exactly. Thank you for that. Thank you for the comments, you guys. Yeah. So love is safety in every sense. Yeah, you need to feel also emotionally safe. Absolutely. Absolutely. So physically safe, right? So if as a grown woman you're with an abusive partner of any gender actually, and they're abusing you, you can't that's not love because you feel physically unsafe, right? And probably emotionally unsafe. Right. It all ties in. So, you guys, that's what I had to share. If you have any questions for me or any comments or anything, yeah, I think, I think it's deep. I think it is healable. So, again, what I teach, like if you work with me, and I invite all of you watching, um, you could just do the 3 sessions. I work with really helping you practice yoga nidra, deep relaxation, getting comfortable with it. The 3 sessions usually happen over about a month, I would say. So you have space, right? You have space to practice and come back and tell me what you had problems with. Um, for some of my clients, what I see is they have trouble doing it. And again, then that's deep. Why do you have trouble? Like you've paid to do this, you want to do this, you have health problems, you have insomnia, and and you want to kind of take your stress level way down, but oh, I'm too busy to do it, right? That again goes to the lack of self-love, the lack of feeling worthy. So this is deep, you guys. This is a circular thing. What I'm pointing out is really everything is connected, which is true. Everything is connected. Everything is energy, right? Um, so, yeah, I also want to mention, so that's more on the kind of stress level, the body level. I also am having a sale, you guys, on my chakra energy healing, and that's good. In fact, if you want to kind of shift your energy, it's where I tune into the chakras and then do a distance energy healing, and I pull cards related and and talk to you about it. And that's an hour session, and that's an energy healing. And that, let me see if I can pull that up really. Hold on. That's under one-on-one on my website. One-on-one chakra energy healing. All right. I gotta navigate my own website, you guys. Let me put that there. And I am having a sale on this. This is cheaper than the regular price. I believe I priced it down to $149. It is an hour. Here, let me put this in the chat. So you have options of ways to work with me. This is more energetic. And I've told you, honest God truth, people tell me they feel it because you're laying down during the session. We're on Zoom together, but then I put the camera off and you're laying down. And people are like, whoa, I felt that. One young woman said to me, the problem that was prominent for her, she saw solutions flashing through her mind. Now, I didn't necessarily see that. I was working with her energy. I was working with her energy, and she's like, it was weird. I got just different ways I could handle it, almost like scenarios flash through my mind, right? That's pretty deep. So I really invite you to, if that's more your jam, to book a chakra energy healing, just sort of bringing light and energy to the chakras. And 149, I think, is a fantastic deal. It's a YouTube sale. And I think I think when you go to it, it says YouTube sale. I don't know how long I will keep that, right? But so that's more that energy healing for those of you who are more into the energy. And the 3 session is more when you're dealing with stress and you want to literally, like, okay, how can I take my stress level down so that it's not aggravating my health? And let me put that one again. And I love both of them, and I work with women of all backgrounds. Okay. The community is welcoming for women. You're working with me one on one. And so that is open for all women. Okay. Yeah, I put both of those. So, yeah, any questions, any comments? And again, if you're just joining, you probably want to go back and watch from the beginning. But I think yes, it's ancestral trauma, but to tease it out, how is it affecting me today? That's what I care about because I'm very much a practical person. And I'm like, okay, well, does this help? What does this do? Right? Like, I like theory. I definitely like theory. And I'm very steeped in the theory I'm talking to you about. This is from traditional Chinese medicine. It's called five element theory. And I am going to make videos about it. It's a little esoteric, it's a little out there. I don't know if everybody will follow me on it. Um, you know, we'll, but it ties in with our health. And so, as I mentioned in the middle of this, for those of you who maybe just joined, the particular meridian that's often really traumatized with poor mothering is the stomach and spleen. And so, a lot of times, women might have digestive issues that's also related, right? But it depends. Each woman has a different part of our body, might be our weak point. Does that make sense? Like, for some people, the weak point is their joints. For some people, the weak point is the stomach or is the digestion. For some people, it's more the lungs. People get asthma. Okay, so I do want to make videos to talk about that because asthma is one of the things that's also tied in with mothering and, wait for it, being potentially smothered by the mother, right? An over mothering. So it's really deep. It's really, the body is amazing. I want to say our body keeps score. Our body is trying to speak to us. And so, last thing for those of us, especially those Black women who we have these higher rates of the reproductive issues, a lot of it, like we said, societal, diet, stress, trauma, all of that tying together. What was I going to say? So we can tease it out in terms of even then our relationships and our intimacy and how do we feel about it. All of that ties into that sacral chakra, mothering, feminine lineage. It's all really important. It's all really important. Yeah. So any questions or comments for me? And I'm just going to go through and thank you, Gigi. And you know what? More of us are here. I'd love to just send some healing energy towards Gigi. Okay, just take a deep breath in with me. Feel like we're a bunch of women in ancient times and we're sitting in a circle. We're sitting in a circle and maybe there's a fire in front of us and we just want to, let's feel that we turn towards a woman in the circle. In this case, just hold her energy of Gigi and just feel like you're sending her energy, you're sending her love, you're sending her support as she deals with loss right now. Maybe connecting into her heart energy. Feel like you send a beam of love, please. Try this, especially when there's a group of us. It's way more powerful. It's a group healing towards her heart. And Gigi, feel that you're open to receiving this supportive, loving energy into her heart chakra. May she feel the love, the support, the strength sent to her. Okay, guys, thank you for doing that with me. I know I could feel it that some of you stopped what you were doing and sent that, because when we're dealing with loss or we're dealing with pain, it's really helpful to, to get that support, to get that love. Yeah, even from a distance. All right, questions, comments for me? I still feel really good. So again, if you want a little taste here of what I do in the chakra energy healing, that was a little bit of it that we did together. I didn't so much tune into, because I'm talking to you guys, I wasn't able to really tune into her, but I felt like, okay, let's nourish the heart chakra. All right, but that was a nice group. Oh, yeah. And Lydia, I know you're a yogi. And you know who else is a yogi who is here? Gigi is a yogi, and there's another woman who's a yogi as well. So, meaning we're very tapped into that subtle energy. Yeah. Didn't that feel good to do? You know what? Let's do more. I was going to do something a little different, but I think what I would like to do to close with you guys, because I'm feeling my energy, I think I'm going to, yeah, respect my energy, but let's, goddesses that are here in Divine Masculine, everybody, even if you're watching later on, you're watching later in the week, you're watching a month from now, let's send energy to parts of the world where there is tremendous pain. And I have done this before. What I'd love for you to do right now is you hear my voice. Take a nice deep breath in and out. We're not going to deplete ourselves. So yes, all of you beautiful beings that are here, I want you to feel that you're getting energy through the crown of your head. You're connecting into spiritual energy, to God, the divine, great spirit, coming in through the crown chakra and just like right along your spine and down into the earth. There's like a light, like in Star Wars or something, like a light, and you're being nourished. And then what we're going to do together now is you take another deep breath in and out. I'd love for us to let's send healing energy to parts of the world that need it. So if you are concerned about the Middle East, go ahead and send your energy there. If you're concerned about the women being abused in parts of the world, being raped by, groups that may like maraud and go and, I'm thinking of some parts of Africa where this was happening. Specifically, go ahead now and choose what does your heart call you to do, and let's do it together. And again, we are sitting in a powerful circle. Let's do a healing circle. This feels really good. Let's do a healing circle. Bring your hand to your heart, and then let's bring right hand first, left hand on top, right to your heart chakra, right? Center of the chest, between the breasts, our center of nurturing. Let's tap into that. Now, what part of the world's pain are you feeling? I honor that, and I'm feeling actually at my throat. I'm feeling some emotion really come up. Okay? It's okay if you feel that as well. I'm feeling like for some of you, you're really feeling almost unable to voice what you're feeling. So, whether you want to put energy to peace in the Middle East and healing for people dying, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in South America, maybe you have a lineage down to these particular places I'm calling out, right? Maybe you know there's something in Guatemala, maybe there's something happening in a part of Mexico, maybe there's something happening here in North America that just really pulls at your heart, something in Europe, something in Asia, there's some injustice. Why don't we now send energy? I like to then put my palms facing out, send energy to that situation, send love and healing, and send it as love. Don't send it as a fighting energy, send it as love into the situation, because you're trying to raise the vibration of the situation. Does that make sense? Okay, so don't send a conflicting energy. Don't send your anger. Take your anger, transmute it through your heart chakra and out through your palms. You're sending this energy of love to the situation. So see the situation. however you want to see it, and literally feel like beams of light, energy are literally glowing onto that situation, and the beam is a beam of love, and it's love that's coming from even beyond you. Let's hold that for a moment. Whether it's for leaders to gain their strength and their courage to stand up against injustice. Maybe it's a specific leader you want to send energy to in your region. And then I always like to say, may my prayers for, and then list what it's for peace on this planet, they join, and then I literally list different religions, and I feel it, you guys. So however you want to do it, your prayers, they're not just you singly. See them joining. I literally picture the planet, and I picture prayers swirling around it harmoniously, and I literally say something like, may my prayers join with those of people from, and I list different religions, and I also list people who are simply humanists, they're atheists, but they're humanists. I even, indigenous religions whose names I do not know, and I picture my energy, right, and your energy. It's all being joined, and that is literally what's helping to hold the earth together from completely falling apart, is this energy of these higher beings, okay? I can feel it. As I said that, I felt an increase in energy. So your energy is going and it's joining with this beautiful light that is holding the planet. I know you guys have seen it where the planet is hovering above some human hands, something like that. We're sending this, and it joins power with all the others who are holding the space, the energy of peace, love, and harmony around the planet, around the globe, for the oceans, the trees, the four-leggeds, insects, beings that live in the air, that live on the ground, that live in the ground, that live in the water, the whales. Some of you are tuning into the whales. Some of you are drawn to that incredibly powerful, like, even when I think this, I know it sounds weird, but I know it's true. The whales, and then I see other people saying the same thing. The whales, these gigantic beings, as they swim, are holding peace on our planet. Without them, as we lose them, we lose access to that. So those of you who, like me, you're resonating with whale energy, send love. Send love. Picture the ocean. These beautiful ancient beings, their vibration, dolphin. Some of you vibrate with dolphin. Beautiful. I could feel this energy. It's like this gigantic ball of energy. Wow. I may do this more. If you got to this far in the video, let me know if you'd like us to do more of these healing, peace and healing sessions, because Lydia's comment just got me started, and I can really feel that we collectively affect the Earth's grid, the Earth's energy. Thank you so, so much for doing this with me. Namaste, Ashe, be well. Wow. Leave a comment once the video is not live so that others can see. But I felt that really, really was profound, profound, profound. We have healing abilities. I'm feeling like I want to do that. I don't know if it's how I'll end the videos or if I'll do them separate, but let's call a healing circle, right? Let's call a healing circle. Thank you so much. I'm gonna wait a minute and read your comments because I felt that, absolutely felt that. I mean, my eyes are teary from that. So yes, Lydia had said before that felt good to do, and thank you for that because that led into Yogini here as well. Beatless Beauty, yes, yes. I felt the connection into whale and dolphin. And the ocean is so vast, we don't know. We really do not know. There's some scientists who said the oceans are in some ways more mysterious than outer space. Our oceans. Isn't that amazing? And I feel like when I called out to you and said the four-leggeds, the animals, you guys, did any of you particularly, was there a particular creature that called to you, whether it was leopard, whether it was snake or rabbit? Some reason I'm getting rabbit. I want to know. So I'm going to leave. I'm going to stay live just so you have time to type that in. I want to know. So, and yes, Beatless Beauty, welcome. I'm so glad you made it. Let me know. Was it just me with the whales and dolphins? Was it just me with the whales and the dolphins? I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, Heather, let's put up Heather's comment. All right. It's a long comment. Okay, I'm going to read it. Heather says, I was in the ocean when you said whales. Wow. Seriously, Heather? Because I wasn't planning to say it. Like I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to talk about whales. So, wow. And again, what this proves is we are all connected. And that's something I'm going to talk about in an upcoming video. I've been wanting to talk about how I feel like there are some very popular YouTubers in different spheres who, because it's easy right now to go into separation, it's easy to go into, you know, these people are bad, they're bad, we're good. Every movement that has killed people on this planet has started with that premise of we're the good people, those are the bad people. And I've been afraid to talk about it on my channel, but it's been something that's been in my heart. Is I see particular leaders that I really do like a lot and that do a lot of good, that are starting to fall into this rhetoric of, and again, at almost a genetic level, that's where it matters. It's not, oh, I disagree with your political beliefs and you are, and they're bad. It's like, no, these people are bad and we're the good people. And I think that is extremely dangerous. I think that is extremely dangerous. And so it's been something on my heart to talk about. So I started tearing up because I must have been tuning in that, you know, when you say that. So she says, I was in the ocean when you said whales and I connected with the whale and my heart chakra began to open and I cried. My heart has been so closed. Thank you. Thank you. I want to screenshot that. Yeah. So again, that's kind of the distance energy healing I'm talking about. Those of you, not Heather, who didn't necessarily experience that, but just know that distance doesn't separate us energetically. So yeah, like I went to heart chakra, like that makes sense for me intellectually, but like I said, whales came out of nowhere and they are part of our healing, especially for those of you who are spiritual, who are sensitive. And I do also believe, and I should make a video on this, different animals resonate to different chakras. So let me know in the comments if you want me to talk about that, in the regular comments, like when I stop. So like whales, right? And it might be slightly different for different people, but for her, yeah, through the heart chakra, right? Very much about they're swimming the oceans, and I feel like I said they're holding peace. They're literally part of the network that's holding the planet from just like imploding, right? These beautiful whales, yeah, through the heart chakra. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure they are. They're trying, I mean, because they can't. You guys remember, weren't whales recently overturning boats? Come on now. Come on. And they were like overturning yachts. I sat back, I was like, here we go. The revenge. Like part of me was like, kind of like, yeah. At a certain point, like I always say, I've said this, Mother Earth, if imagine if you physically abused your mother. Like, who would do that? At a certain point, she would have a right to defend herself, is what I'm saying, right? So, yeah, the whales, I remember, I think it was a couple of yachts, they like overturned. And I'm like, it's weird. Like, what's going on? And I knew, I'm like, yeah, the Empire Strikes Back, people. All right, let's read your comments. I saw humpback whale vividly. Wow. Wow. Lydia, yes. Yes, goddess. That is so amazing. So I got to figure out, do we tag it on to the end? Do we start with it if we, start with it, then people get bored, the people who pop in. So let me figure that out. But I felt all your energy, all of you. At the end, I felt like this big ball of energy that I didn't feel at the beginning. And that's when I said, like, yeah, like, send it out to the world. We need to realize we're not powerless. The people who are truly evil, they're also, I believe, like, supposedly Hitler was into a lot of metaphysical stuff. And even, like, as you know, some of their symbols, they took things that were good and kind of wielded them negatively. We're not helpless, is all I'm saying. So yes, that you guys were resonating with that. You were resonating with whale. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and we'll just do it, and we do it so people can join in. So it's not a closed thing, but it's open, and folks can come. And I just feel like Sunday, it's a very powerful day, the day of the sun, which is like our soul. It's us, that solar energy is a beautiful day, right? To do this. So yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll just continue it this way. Just do it at the end or do it in the middle. I don't know. I got to figure it out. But leave your comments. So I'm going to close the video now. Actually, a YouTuber that I like is starting a live now. And as I said, my channel would be bigger if I went really hard on, I'm only for this type of person. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. Um, as you all know, you're all smart women. You know, if you stay in the middle, you get battered by both sides. If you pick a side, right? Really quick, right now, well, I won't even mention their names. The US political system, if you're hardcore on one side or the other, you have strong support. If you're anywhere kind of in the middle or trying to, like, well, or not even in the middle, but you're like, there's a little nuance to this, you get dumped on. And so it's very easy for humans. We like to say this whole group is bad. But like I said, when we start to link it with gender or ethnicity, this is how people who have destroyed other civilizations, they do. So I refuse to do that. I'm not going to say this group is better than this group based on any physical characteristic. Except, I mean, I do think women, we are a little more sensitive and more, I'm not more evolved than guys, but I think testosterone can mess up men's brains. Let me know what you think. I'm going to end on that note. Because testosterone makes you want to, like, so the divine masculine has to modulate that a little bit. They have to work with that. Like, okay, how am I going to keep control of my testosterone and not punch somebody? So it was so nice to hang out with you guys. I feel better. I feel like I had a cathartic experience. And I will see you. I'll have a video probably, wait, yeah, Thursday? Maybe not this Thursday because I'm going to be traveling and I'll tell you guys about it afterwards. Yeah, of course. Yeah, non-local. Yep. Shanae, it's referred to as non-local consciousness. Yes. But everybody would have you believe we're all separate, because if you can make us believe we're separate, you can pit us against each other, just like the Roman kings would put the gladiators again. It's fun for some people to just watch people squabble and kill each other. And so it's part of a plan. It's part of a calculated low vibration, yeah, to have people not see their connectivity, not feel it either, because you can feel it. So I'm so glad you guys were all wonderful. I really think we sent out a gem of healing out to the planet. All right. And the more people that can do that, the better, right? And take us out of this sort of dark, heavy vortex yeah, it is disempowering, and that's what they want, because when people feel they don't have power, they're easy to control because you can lead them by the nose and you can tell them it's those people's fault. It's their fault that you're not doing well, right? Every single culture, every single political or religious leader that has wielded power negatively, they do that. They find a group, they demonize the whole group, and then they tell the other group, you're better than them. And then they set them at each other to fight and to destroy each other and to get blood, right? To just, and who benefits? You always have to ask yourself, who benefits when that happens? So, anyway, we're above that. I really enjoyed doing that healing circle. It felt very, very good. Definitely going to do it again. And hopefully, I'll have some type of video for you this week. You can book an appointment to see me. This is the work I do. Um, you saw a taste of it, an example of it. My calendar is open, and I'll put the links also below the video now. All right. You are welcome, Shanae. Thank you. Thanks, Shanae and Lydia and Heather. Thank you so much for your comment, Heather. That really just, yeah. Beatless, thank you so much for being here. And Janae, thank you so much, as usual, for being here. And any of you who are channel, Gigi, yeah, any of you who are channel supporters, channel members, there are perks to that. It starts at like $4.99. Anything you can do to support the channel. And if it doesn't have to be money, you could give a thumbs up, which tells YouTube, oh, this was interesting. Send it out to more women like me. They're going to like it. So give the video a thumbs up. Yakira, she says, this topic brought me to tears and is another form of validation. Yes, I'm on the road from North Carolina to Arkansas to see my mom. We're building our relationship, one we never had. Wow. And you tuned in. And you tuned in. You see what I'm saying? So even if it's 10 people and later it will at least be 50, 60, 70 people watch this video, and yeah, it's validation. Spirit brought you in. That's so wonderful that you're going to connect with your mom. And know that it can be difficult, that especially maybe the first time things might burst open. But Yakira, thank you so much for your comment, and yeah, good luck, and just keep going as best you can with it. You may take some steps forward, I'm feeling like, and then you may have to take a step back. Okay, so just know it may happen that way. All right, you guys were great. I'm so glad you were here. I love you very much. Bye bye.